What's up, y'all? It's your boy JB, excuse me. And I'm here tonight with the review for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta Season 8 Reunion Part 2 is over, and now we can move on to Highly Weird. So, let's go ahead and just jump right into tonight's notes and my video. So, stick around. Alright, you guys, so the episode, it picks up where last week's left off. Was with, Nina talking about she had the results of Carly's lie detector test. So she read the questions. So she got through the first three questions. And the first three questions, they, showed no deception. And Carly's like, yeah, I won lying. And Nina's like, calm down, because her and Pooh went back and forth with each other. She's like, calm down. There are two more questions that we gotta, we asked. So, she's like, so the question was there ever any kind of sexual activity between, actually she says, were you and Pooh ever sexually intimate? So the result of that question was inconclusive. And then, the next question she said, well, actually, before she got to the next question, Pooh and Carly, they still arguing with one another. And before that, Carly called Pooh a hypothetical liar. I'm like, a what? A who? Okay. So they arguing. Pooh was like, yeah, bitch, you slept in my bed when you got those ass shots. I'm like, oh my God, here she go. So the next question was from Carly was, was she ever involved with Not Face Martin? And the results of that one was inconclusive. So then Nina goes over to Mimi and she's like, so Mimi, it came out earlier in the season that you may have known something that had happened. And Mimi was like, let me clear it up real quick. I don't know what happened. She said all that happened, all that I can say is, Carly, me, Pooh, and some other people used to hang around, the studio that Hiram owned. Now she said I left the studio early, and Carly stayed behind. And she said the next day, that is when the rumors came out. I'm like, oh my God, can we please put this shit, literally, put this shit to bed? So then Shekinah comes to, Carly's defense, talking about she knows Carly, but she don't know Pooh. And then she said something about it, she knows Shay Mack and something about some dildoids. And I'm like, huh? Now, I wasn't really 100% focused on what Shekinah was saying because of Shekinah's makeup. Like, up here, it was all light. But then down here, she got orange. And I'm like, I just can't focus on Shekinah based on, solely because of her fucking makeup. So then, Pooh tells her, you're fat, you're uncomfortable looking. And Carly says, don't talk to my friends like that. And I'm like, oh my God, shut the fuck up, Carly. So once and for all, we finally did this shitty situation. And, Carly's talking about how, she's she's open about her sexuality. And if she did fuck her, she would say it. Well, you kind of did say it in the episode when y'all was in Trinidad. You said, that was in the past and I do know about it, but whatever. It's done. Let's not ever talk about that shit again. So moving on. All right, so next we have we talk about Scrap, KK, and Moniece. Now, the weird thing was they were all squished on that couch. Like, you had Scrap, you had Karen, you had Moniece, and you had Pooh. Now, Moniece's little ass is really squishing between Pooh big ass and, KK, who's not a small person at all. She just looks short. But, they ask, Scrap about his dad, how that happened, how, and he's talking about, his dad wasn't in his life, but he hopes that his dad can be in his son's life. And, he's willing to take the chance to get to know his dad. And then we talk about how he found out about his daddy. And, KK was, Scrap said KK asked him, like, what's the name on your birth certificate? He says, Will. She's like, you know what? I know a dude named Will. And he was like, what's the chances of that being my daddy? Like, they might not have the same birthday. They might not have the same they might not have this in common. She says, you know what? They do. So that's how, KK allegedly told, Scrap about his daddy. Now, here's the thing about this storyline right here. We only talked about that for like a hot second, and it was done. Even that sister, we only met her, those first few episodes, and after that, nothing else of the system. So, then, Nina asked Scrap, did he feel like he had support from Stevie J when he was in jail? He says no. And CBJ's like, you know what, man, I do apologize about that. He said, I felt like I let, Scrap down, I let his boys down, and I let KK down. Now, when Scrap said that, they wanted Stevie J to come to talk to the inmates about drug rehabilitation, a seminar or something like that, I'm like, wait a minute. So what was Stevie J's purpose for coming there? Because we all know Stevie J has a past with drugs. I mean, you guys remember that video that came out a few years ago with Jocelyn in the studio looking like she was high as fuck. She didn't look like she was high as fuck. She was high as fuck. The rumors were that they were doing drugs with one another. So what could the prisoner really want from Stevie J to be an example of what not to do? Just curious. Like that was interesting for him to say that part. So, then Nina asked Scrap the question of like, so we all know that Carly came to visit you in prison. Did anybody else from the cast come and visit you? And, they just talked about how Carly went to visit him and, she gave her little story about, how she felt about going to visit him. So then, he was talking about how, writing a letter to an inmate, it can mean a lot to them, which I imagine it does. And, then Pooh, I don't know who told her to open her mouth, but she said, yeah, they was also fucking too. While she say that, KK reached over and grabbed her by that wig, and I don't, they tumbled on top of Moniece. I'm like, y'all gonna kill Moniece. Like you can hear Moniece scream. I'm like, poor Moniece. I really felt bad for him. Now here's the other thing that was confusing to me. When KK grabbed Pooh, why did Tokyo charge after her and security stopped her? I didn't understand that. I was confused by that. All right, so now we move over to the situation between Moniece and Scrap. So not KK, but Nina asked, is Scrap single? Scrap says, yes, he is single. And then, she asked KK, so like, KK, why did you try to hook up Scrap and Moniece? She says, well, the reason that I tried to hook Scrap and Moniece up is because Moniece was good to Scrap when he was in jail. And then she's like, Scrap and Moniece actually ran up $3,000 worth, on my phone. And Moniece was like, that did not happen. And, I'm laughing because I'm thinking about something that Moniece said, and I'm going to get to it in a little bit. She was like, no, we didn't. She said, yes, she did. Because Scrap wouldn't ask you to put money on your card. He would call me, and I would call you on three-way, and y'all would have them little freaky conversations. Moniece was like, that did not happen. So, then we talk about the relationship between Moniece and Scrap. And Moniece says that when it came down to it, she was disappointed in Scrap because they were such good friends with one another. And I'm like, when did y'all become friends with one another? We've never mentioned him on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood ever, but okay. And then she also says that she was afraid to explore more with him. So then, Aqua says, well, would you take that devil dick back? Moniece didn't answer. She said she didn't answer, so that means yes. So we also did find out that Moniece and AD are, I guess, back together with one another. And Moniece is just talking about how, she doesn't want to be dumped again. And, she doesn't want to feel like trash. And KK said something that was like real talk, real spill, real shit. She said, when it comes to y'all people having freelance sex, feelings do just start to get involved in that situation, which 100% is true. So now we're going to move on to the next segment. All right, you guys. And next we got Sierra. So Sierra says that her relationship with BK right now is complicated. And the reason why it's complicated is because Sierra says that, she got married when she was like, 18 or 19 years old. And she's just, she's getting to know Sierra. And that's been my whole thing with Sierra. Sierra's 29 years old and she got married young. So when you got divorced, I don't know why Sierra went and jumped into a relationship with BK. Why didn't she take the time to get to know Sierra? But, storylines. So then Nina asked Carly, like, why come you didn't tell Sierra about, Pooh? And, Carly says that, she thought Sierra knew. And then Sierra says that Melissa invited, Pooh on her birthday vacation. So then they talked to Pooh from backstage. And, she said she want to come back and she ain't afraid of none of them. And all KK did was pull her hair. And she got some good hair and it ain't coming out. So then Sierra says that, she actually at one point believed Pooh. And, then Pooh says that Sierra told her that she came to her house and she said that, she wanted to be like her. I'm like, huh? None of this shit makes sense. Like, Pooh is annoying. Do not bring her back, Mona, please. Okay, so next we move over to Akbar, Moniece, Spice, Tokyo, and Shikana. So, we start talking about how Akbar didn't show up to the studio with Moniece. And Akbar says the reason that she didn't show up is because of the migraines, because she still has the bullet fragments in her brain. And, Nina asked her, well, did you ever call Moniece and tell her that you weren't going to be able to make it? She says, yes. There were times that I did call Moniece and tell her that I wouldn't be able to make it, but then there were times I just didn't show up. And she says, you know what, Moniece, I do apologize for that. And Moniece was talking about how when it come down to Akbar that they were supposed to be doing an EP with each other. My bad, y'all. And they didn't do the EP because because of her not showing up, and they were only able to get one good song from it. So, and the thing that I was laughing about a few minutes ago was when Monique said she didn't want to hear about the semantics. And, Akbar was like, what does that mean? She says the excuses. So then we talk about Akbar and her being this queen of Atlanta. You know what? I agree with what Jacques says. If that's what she want to say and make herself believe it, let her believe it. Nobody else believes it. But it is what it is. So then we talk about Akbar going to confront Shikana. And, did she feel any type of way about that? She says no. The reason why she did that is because she felt like they were ganging up on Pooh. And I'm like, you had one side of the story. You could have went, even if you're not cool with Shikana, you could have went to some of the other ladies and said, my girl Pooh said this and this and that. And I just want to know what's going on. So then we started talking about that, her baby daddy. And when Shikana tried to talk, Akbar was like, just jumping at her. And I'm like, what the fuck? So, when Shikana did get to talking, she still kept getting interrupted. And Shikana was like, she's being rude and disrespectful to everybody on the panel. And Pooh was like, no, she not. And I'm like, Pooh, shut up. And so then they all started to argue with Pooh. And I'm like, oh my God. So then out of nowhere, Pooh is a tacky ass person. Like, first you keep some supposed shitty sheets that Carly shitted on, and now you got some dirty panties that Sierra wore and you threw them on the stage. Oh my God. What the fuck? What the fuck? So, Akbar and Shikana, they going back and forth with each other. Shikana's like, girl, I don't fight. And if you come over here late, put your hands on me, I'm calling the police. I'm like, well, at least she's honest. At least she's honest. We gonna move. Okay, we gonna breeze right through Kirk and Rashida. Kirk and Rashida, they in a good space. She said, Rashida says that Kirk has changed. Whatever. Then Nina asked him about the infidelity. Why did she mention? She said she wanted to be open, but that the infidelity did not happen in a marriage. It happened in the relationship, which we all are very much aware of. Rashida says she's cool with having Cannon around. You ain't got no choice but to be cool with having Cannon around. Kirk says that, basically everybody knew that he was trying to work on co-parenting with Jasmine, with the exception of Rashida. All Rashida wanted was for him to tell her. And, she says that, actually Nina asked him how did he feel about Rashida having input on, Cannon wearing a pull-up and having a pacifier. He didn't care. We don't care. No one cares. Then, Nina asked him, like, how do you feel about Jasmine saying that you are only trying to be in Cannon's life when the cameras are rolling? He says, that's not true, when it comes to Jasmine, she wants it to be like a relationship. Well, technically, motherfucker, it is a relationship. It's a mother-father relationship. Now, you don't have to, it's not a emotional relationship, but it is a relationship of sorts. I don't know what he meant by she wanted. I guess he's trying to say she wants to be romantically involved with him. I guess. I don't know. Don't care. Moving on. All right, and then the last two things, I'm going to group them together. So we had Spice. We talked about Spice and this bleaching that she did. Spice said that she did it, because she wanted to take a stand for black women. And I'm all for, standing for black people, black women, black men. I'm all for it. I don't necessarily, I think it's like 50% truth in that. I think 50% of it she was doing it for a storyline. And then the other 50% she could be telling the truth that she wanted to make a stand. So then Nina asked Mimi how does she feel, when Spice said that, she has privilege, that Spice doesn't, she has privilege because of her lighter skin. And Mimi says, she didn't see it until they went to Trinidad, and you saw the bleaching creams all in the stores, and she has to say, you know what, I do agree with her. So then Tokyo says, when it comes down to some I know some ugly light skinned girls as tongue tied. Spice Tokyo, sorry y'all. Tokyo said that she knows some ugly light skinned girls, and that is I know that to be a fact too. Just because you're light skinned doesn't mean that you're beautiful, and just because you light skinned doesn't mean that you have long hair. Just because you light skinned doesn't mean that you have quote good hair. Light skinned people have the same, sometimes they have the same things that a dark skinned person has. Like they can have coarse, kinky hair. It just doesn't. I hate when people say, "Oh, she light skinned, she must have good hair." No, because I do know some light skinned girls. They got some rough edges, and and their hair is not the longest. Their hair probably stops right here. So it is what it is. So then we move over to Tokyo. Tokyo said that she has beat depression's ass, and she felt like it was dope when the girls came to check on her. And she said because she didn't believe in depression, and I have to kind of, I don't know if I actually can say I can agree with that, because I've always known about depression. I've known depression is real because as a teenager, I had depression, but it was mild. I could snap out of it, but after my mom passed away, the depression, I could not snap out of it as easily. And they talk about when Sierra threw her food out. Sierra said she was too pushy, but she wants to support her friend. And if Tokyo wants to lose weight, cool. If she don't, cool. She's there to support her friend. And you guys, that is basically it for season 8 of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Season 6 of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood starts next week. I'm looking forward to it. Somebody please go check on y'all Auntie Ruthie, because she doing the fool out here in these streets. But until next week for Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, you guys, I will see you later.